The reason why you're so unhappy with your life is because you don't know your purpose. You don't know your power and you don't know your worth because you haven't identified your gifts. But don't worry, I got you. Back in 2020, I wrote a book. It's called If God Gave Me Anything, and it speaks to the gifts that God has given me in hopes that you'll be able to identify the gifts that He has given you. Through experience, I was able to identify exactly what those gifts are, and now it's my time to help you. So, for the past 2 weeks, we have been going over chapter 1 and chapter 2. This week, we're going to go over chapter 3. And chapter 3 is the gift of intuition. So, if you have not seen the first 2 chapters, the first one was the chapter of the gift of love. The second one was the gift of confidence. And now we're going on to chapter 3. So, if you have not seen those first 2, I advise you go back and watch those. But now it's time for us to dig into the gift of intuition. For who knows a person's thoughts except the spirit of that person which is in him? So also no one comprehends the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. 1 Corinthians 2:11. So when I think about the gift of intuition, I have to go back into my childhood and I have to think about when this gift initially presented itself to me. I can remember times where I would be around people and I felt uneasy or I felt like a turning sensation in my stomach. I can remember getting ready to make a decision and something inside of me was saying, no, that's not a good decision. Even as a child, I could feel these things, but I had no idea where they had come from or who was talking to me. I had no idea if I was to follow what was being said to me on the inside of me or if I was to listen to the other voice. Now, in my book, it reads, intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. It is the ability to acquire knowledge without proof, evidence, or understanding of how the knowledge was acquired. Now, one of the things I want you to understand about how your intuition communicates with you is that it takes 4 different avenues. One of the avenues it uses is clear audio. So it's going to go through your hearing. The second one is clairvoyance. That's you seeing images. The third one is clairsentience, which is you being able to feel. And then the last one is claircognizant, which is you just knowing. So those are the 4 different methods that your intuition is going to use to communicate with you. Now, my intuition communicates with me through 2 different avenues that I have been able to recognize: clairsentience and claircognizant. So clairsentience, as I said before, is just being able to feel things. And then claircognizant is just knowing. You know what you know. So when I'm in different spaces and I'm in different environments and I feel off, like my spirit is saying, you can't sit in this place because, you're feeling off, or something is going on the inside of me to where I just can't rest in an environment, I know that that's my intuition's way of communicating to me that you need to get up out of there. That's not a safe place for you. That's not where I need you to be. So I listen to it a whole lot more now than what I did before because I understand its method. There's a method to its communication. So I encourage you to try to figure out how is your intuition communicating with you. So now that we have identified the 4 different avenues in which your spirit will take to communicate with you, I think it's important for us to now be able to identify whether or not you actually have this gift. And just in my own belief, I believe everyone has the gift of intuition. Whether or not you use it is a whole other story. But I do believe we all have this gift because I believe we are spirits, walking spirits with the flesh. And the intuition, your intuitive part of you, is your spirit that's speaking to you, that's leading you, that's guiding you in the direction in which you need to go. Now, whether or not we listen, again, is something totally different. However, I do feel that everyone has been gifted with the ability to either hear something, feel something, see something, or just know something. I think we all have that gift. Now, to take it a step deeper, when understanding that we all have this gift of intuition, we also have to mention that while we all may have the gift of intuition, A, everyone doesn't listen to their intuition. B, there is this thing called discernment. There is this thing where being able to discern whether or not you are following your flesh or if you're following your spirit is something that a lot of people have not mastered. And in all transparency, I'm still working on myself, because what I know about the spirit is our intuition is going to lead us in the direction in which we need to go. The safest, the best route. What I know about my flesh is I still have a choice that I can make. And sometimes I want to do what's comfortable for me, because my spirit will push me into places that are very uncomfortable. And a lot of times I want to do what's comfortable for me. Now, 2 things that I don't want you to do when you are using your gift of intuition. The first thing is don't overanalyze. The second thing is don't overthink. Your intuition has already discerned what you need to do and how you need to move in the various situations and spaces that you will be placed in. Your intuition has already done that for you. The only thing that you have to do is trust it. People who overthink and overanalyze are listening to the voices of other people, are comparing themselves to the lives of other people, are constantly looking outside of themselves instead of looking inside of themselves. So I don't want you to think that your intuition is going to guide you into a place that you don't need to be. Your intuition has already done the discerning. All you have to do is trust it. All you have to do is follow it. That's it. Now, while I understand that listening to your intuition is easier said than done, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is hindsight better than 2020, or is 2020 better than hindsight? And the reason why I ask that question is because if you're someone who believes that you are a spirit with the flesh, then you understand that you are being led by your spirit, and your spirit can see things that you cannot see. So if 2020 is better than hindsight, that means your spirit is 2020, and hindsight is going to require you to be operating flesh. Hindsight is going to make you look back on situations and say, I could have did that better. I shouldn't have said that. 2020 is going to say, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to move, because I can clearly see exactly what's going to be best for you. So, is hindsight better than 2020? Y'all let me know. So now that we have identified the gift of intuition, you say to yourself, okay, Rhonda, yeah, I got this gift. I'm intuitive. I know what's going on. Perfect. I'm happy for you. But what does this mean for your purpose? If you are someone who has the gift of intuition, how does this gift tie into your purpose? Do you have to be intuitive? Do you have to listen to your intuition in order for you to walk in purpose? The answer to that is yes, you do. You have to listen to that thing that is guiding you. You have to listen to that voice, or follow that image, or listen to those feelings that you're feeling in order for you to walk in purpose, on purpose. Sometimes walking in purpose requires you to be led by something that you cannot see. You cannot see your spirit. You cannot see that guiding light that is leading the way. You cannot visually see it, but you have to trust it. Intuitive people trust their intuition to make the hard decisions for them, to make the decisions that are going to be conducive to their growth, and the decisions that are going to take them down the path that they need to go. So you say, okay, I got this gift. Now I'm ready to identify my other gifts, because we all have more than one gift. If you are someone who is wanting to understand what gifts you have so that you can start walking in purpose, I want you to go and get a copy of my book, If God Gave Me Anything. All you have to do is click the link in my bio and purchase you a book. But if not, that's fine. We're going to ride this thing out. I'll see y'all in chapter 4.